All right, example 4, find the exact value of each function. As soon as you start seeing the words exact value, it means that they want to know the numbers like square root of 3 over 2, square root of 2 over 2, those types of answers, as opposed to getting on your calculator, getting a decimal approximation for these things. The goal on each of these problems is that we want the angle between 0 and 360 if we're dealing with degrees. So A and C we can do immediately because 210 and 300 are both between 0 and 360. Or cosine 405 is not between 0 and 360, we have to modify that. But all these are on that yellow formula sheet I gave you that has all the sine, cosine, tangent, cotangent, secant, cosecant values for all those special angles. Every multiple of 30 and every multiple of 45 between 0 and 360 is on that. And those are the angles that have these nice, pretty answers. So, sine of 210, if I look on my sheet, find the 210 degree and go over to the sine column, we're going to see that negative 1/2 is in that box. So that's the answer to that problem. All right, so that's how we're going to do these. All right, I'm relying on each of you to memorize the sine and cosine values of each of these angles to be able to do it this way. All right, if you aren't going to memorize the sine and cosine values, first of all, you do really poorly on that one test that we're going to have down the road. But secondly, the way you have to do it otherwise is to find a reference angle. So 210 degrees starting here, this is 0 degrees, right? We go around to 180. We got to go 30 more degrees to get 210, right? Mm-hmm. So if I draw that 30-degree angle in right there, and I draw a leg going straight up the x-axis, that makes this down here a 60-degree angle, right? That makes a special right triangle we learned about in Algebra 2, the 30, 60, 90 right triangle. And the side measures were opposite the 31, the hypotenuse 2, and the side opposite 60, square root of 3. You might recall those numbers, you might not. You can see that the square root of 3 is going left, so it's negative. 1's going left, so it's negative. We're trying to find the sine, which is opposite over hypotenuse of negative 1/2. That's how we can find it otherwise. Or you can just memorize sine of 210 is negative 1/2. That's the better way to do it. Getting a visual representation in your mind and knowing what it is more useful, in my opinion, than having to draw that picture every single time. So keep that in mind. Use the sheet, but also our goal is to memorize the sheet, memorize the pattern. Make a correlation between what the picture of the angle looks like and what the answer to the problem is. And again, when we get closer to that test where we're actually memorizing those, I'll give you some insight as far as how I memorized it. I think it works pretty well. It's a visual recollection thing. So, cosine 405, you'll notice that 405 is too big. When we get too big in degrees, we subtract 360 to get a coterminal angle. Cosine of 45 degrees, and again, if we just find 45 degrees on the sheet, go over to the cosine column, we'll look under there, we'll see the square root of 2 over 2. That's the answer to that problem. Each of those is exactly right. Fractions, radicals. Tangent of 300, we go find 300 on our sheet. We scroll over to the tangent column and we look down that. Let's see, tangent of 300 would be there. Sine over cos. Negative, negative square root of 3 over 3 would be the right answer to that one. That's not right. Negative square root of 3. Negative square root of 3. All right. So that's it. I want the answers looking like that on each of those. They're on your sheet. Just a matter of you reading it correctly. If the angle's too big, subtract 360. If it's a negative angle, add 360 until it's positive. If it was a cosine of 1005, keep subtracting 360 until it's between 0 and 360. You'll have to do several subtractions.